I'm Priscilla Candell, here to share my love of the arts with you. For years, I've taught piano, sung at theme parks and special events, composed music for children, and produced and performed in live shows, television, and films. On this show, I'll be sharing various artists and types of art. Welcome to The Arts and You.
Hi, I hope you saw my last show where I was interviewing Arnold Orgolini, who is a film producer of many major studios, and he's worked with many famous actors. Arnold, you brought me some pictures today, and I'd love to hear who's in the picture and what was going on. First, I have one with Michael Caine celebrating his birthday in Manila. Can you tell us how that came about?
Michael, if you'll notice on the cake, you see it says Mickey Micklethwait. Mickey Micklethwait was his real name. It was not Michael Caine. Oh. And we surprised him with a birthday cake, which he was not happy about at all. And the woman in the picture with her is the director's wife, Samantha Aldrich. But afterwards, after a couple of drinks, he was happy and everything was okay. And
then the next picture you gave me was Michael Caine with Julius Rosario and yourself. What was the movie about that party?
This was Too Late the Hero also. It was a rap party. And Rosario is a very famous Filipino actor, and we hired him in a small part for the movie. And Michael Caine, and it was a raucous rap party, but it was a great rap party.
Well, there's another picture here with a very pretty lady at that same party. Who is that lady?
That lady would be my wife.
Oh, beautiful lady.
Yes, yeah, it was a great time. We had really good.
Wow. Now I see another one here with Rona Barrett and Dinah Shore. What's that about?
That was a movie that we did called Meteor. Dinah Shore would pick a show. Dinah Shore's show would pick a particular picture in town and then spend the day on that set and talk to all the people there. But she was very particular picture she wanted. This is the first one that was kind of a big tentpole movie, and so she wanted to do that. And we also had some good talent on the show, and Natalie Wood and
Okay, I have another picture here on the set of Meteor with Dinah Shore and Natalie Wood. And who's that tall, handsome man there?
That's Brian Keith.
He was in the movie too?
Yes, he was also.
Fantastic. Wow. I'm very interested in this movie about Meteor. Can you tell us more about how that movie came about?
A partner of mine came to me with an idea. He said he had read in a magazine about a meteor hitting the Earth. And he said, "What do you think?" And I said, "Not much, No, he said, "No, really, what do you think?" I said, it's difficult. I don't know. I need to know more about it. So he wrote a short little synopsis of it. And, and I read the synopsis. The synopsis was good. It was a good little synopsis, but it was too small for something as universal as a meteor hitting the Earth. So I said, why don't we hire an artist, an illustrator, to do a very dramatic picture of this, so we can, as we try and raise some money for it, we can show people what it could look like. So we hired an artist, an illustrator, and he did this wonderful picture of a meteor from a distance in 3 degrees coming towards the Earth. And it was a rather frightening, interesting idea. The people that we were working with at the time, some of our partners, we all went to the Cannes Film Festival, and within 24 hours, we raised $16 million. Now, that was a lot of money.
Wow.
In 1974.
Yes.
And that gave us the start to the movie, and that's how we started. Then it took another year to put it together because we had to cast it. We had to raise the balance of the money. We had to get it distributed because there was no major studio behind this. We had raised the money independently. And so it became very complicated. It's the kind of thing I never wanted to do again. But
you had some major stars in that film.
We did.
Tell me who they were.
We had, at that time, Natalie Wood, who had not done a movie in a while, but what kind of attracted her to the movie was it has a Russian side and an American side, and she is of Russian background. And she grew up in San Francisco, and her second language was Russian. She loved the idea of being able to speak Russian in a movie, and she liked the script. It's not the kind of script she would normally do, but she really liked the script. Of course, we had Sean Connery, who was through doing 007s, and so he said, yes, I would do this. And then Brian Keith and Marty, the name drifts past me, but anyway.
I have a picture of all those stars. Fabulous cast.
Yeah, we really had a wonderful cast, and a very complicated movie to make, because the state of the art of those kind of effects were not really developed yet. Star Wars had just come out, and that was a major studio behind it, so they had all the money in the world. We did not. We had to work with what we had. We couldn't go back to the well if we ran out of money. So it was difficult. It was very difficult.
For curiosity, a major star like Sean Connery, Natalie Wood, what would be their typical pay for a movie like that?
Sean Connery, we made a deal with him for $500,000. He had come off the 007, and he was just starting to do other movies now, but his value was less. So we paid him $500,000 until 2 weeks before the movie started, and his agent came to me and said, we want $1 million for him. And we fought and argued and carried on and eventually paid him.
Can they do that?
Of course.
After they've done one contract?
What are you going to do?
You were stuck.
You shut the movie down. You can't.
Wow.
And I went to Sean and I said, it's. I don't want to get in an argument with Sean Connery, but I said, it seemed difficult. He said, well, I have to listen to my agents. And he was right. It was one of those things we should have thought more carefully about. Natalie Wood, I think, got $500,000.
Oh.
But she had, I'll never forget this, when her first day of coming to work, she didn't start in the beginning of the movie, she started about a week into it. She brought a lot of clothes in, her own clothes. And the wardrobe woman came to me that night and she said, Natalie brought all these clothes in and she wants them altered. They're her personal clothes. What should I do? And I had to laugh. I said, well, she grew up in the star business. She grew up when the studio star business. That's what they did for them. Wardrobe departments took care of all their clothes and everything. So I said, in our particular case, we have to do the same thing. We have to help her out. Now, we did that for her, but she also was terrific in campaigning for the movie. Once the movie was over, she went all over the country and campaigned for it, and she publicized it. She even went to Europe for us. So it's all worth it, Well,
nowadays I'm hearing that when you're budgeting for a film, you should have half of the budget for promotions. Is it that way, or was it that way?
No, they're two separate budgets. One is promotion and distribution, and the other is the production budget itself. You can keep them pretty separate. But there were some beautiful clothes in there that she wore, and there was one particular camel coat, beautiful camel coat. And I remember I told my wife, Sandy, I said, when it's all over, I'm going to buy it, and then you can keep it. I'll get it at whatever the wholesale price is. So Natalie came to me about a week before, and she said, that camel coat, I really would like that. And I stumped, what was I going to do? So I thought about it, and I thought, she said, Arnold, I'm going to help you in the promotion, the publicity. I really would love that coat. So people asked me, what did you do? I gave her the coat.
Oh, of course.
And I explained it to my wife, and she said, I understand,
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful
But
story.
she was, Natalie Wood was always there, always ready to help, always ready to do something to make it better, change lines, work a little longer, do stuff. She brought her kids on the set a lot, so she didn't have to leave. She, RJ, her husband, came on the set a lot. And so she kind of made a little family thing out of it, which was nice. It was really nice. And
you had Carl Malden in that
Carl
movie?
Malden, absolutely.
How was he?
Carl Malden was wonderful. Oh, he was a great actor. My God, you know, I mean, he was the best of all the actors. I mean, not saying the others weren't good, but he was really, you know, he was.
And did that film win awards?
No, it won a couple awards for special effects. The one area that we didn't think we had any success with at all, and no, it wasn't that kind of a movie. You know, there was no the drama. There was a few dramatic moments, but there was no drama that carried through that you would say this is a real great award.
Well, that film came out in 1979, and the computers were still growing in capability.
Yeah. I mean, if you'll notice in the movie, there's the ticking of the time of when the meteor's coming in, and it was like a big clock, you know. I mean, I look at it today and I cringe. I go, my God, clock. I mean, you know, everything is digital today, and it's you know, so quick, and you touch a button.
Stay tuned. There's more coming on the Arts and You. I love to play with music. I love to sing a song.
Hi, I'm Priscilla Candell, and I've been a voice teacher for years. Do you like to sing and wish you had better tone and diction? How about holding the notes longer or making those high notes feel easier? I've made a CD of basic vocal exercises as used in my private lessons. Now they can help you anywhere you go.
We're here again with Arnold Orgolini and his wonderful stories. Now, Arnold, I know you got involved with Motown. Most people think of them related to music. How does that get into film?
Well, I guess sometime in 1978, I got a call from Berry Gordy's company asking me if I'd be interested in talking to him about a film that they were preparing or getting ready to prepare. So I went up to see him, and we hit it off. I mean, he was a very nice man, and we talked for about an hour, and he said, okay, have your lawyer call me, and we'll make a deal. I said, well, that's what I do. I make deals, so you want to make a deal? You can make a deal. And he did. We made a deal right there.
Wow.
And I remember leaving, and I thought, oh, this is interesting. This is going to be interesting to do. So anyway, we started to put it together. It was a very complex, old 20th Century Fox movie. They wanted to do a remake of it, and with Billy D. Williams, and I thought, well, that's a great idea. I tried my hardest. I pitched it everywhere. But Motown was not financing motion pictures. They wanted us to go to a studio, get the studio to finance it, and we would put all the pre-production and the costs of preparing it, but the rest of it would have to come from the studio. I couldn't sell it. I tried, I just couldn't sell it. So I went to him and I said, Barry, this is, unfortunately I can't do this. I can't sell it. It's difficult. He said, I thought you were going to run into trouble, but I really appreciate what you did.
But did you get paid for all that work
Well,
you did?
there was part of my contract. He said, we'll just settle your contract. We'll pay you off. I said, you really don't have to do that. He said, no, that's okay. We'll pay you off. So he did.
Fantastic.
And that was it. But the most interesting part happened the next morning at 3 o'clock in the morning. And if you know the music business, they work all the time, 24 hours a day. Barry has a very big studio in Hollywood, and they were cutting some movie. At 3 o'clock in the morning, he calls me. He says, Arnold, how are you? So I didn't want to say it's 3 in the morning, but it was 3 in the morning, and he said, I got a couple of guys on the phone with me. One was the president of his company, the other was one of the COO of the company. And he said, listen, Arnold, I've been thinking, I'd like you to run Motown Productions. Wow. They kind of let it run down, and they weren't doing anything out of that company anymore. And he said, I'd like to revitalize it. Would you be interested in running it? Whew, at 3 o'clock in the morning, I thought, So I said, I'm going to be really honest with him. Look, I said, Barry, this is not what I do. I've never run a production company, with a list of things to do. So let me give it a thought. And he said, do that. Come in tomorrow morning, and we'll talk about it. So I went in the next morning. Needless to say, I took it. I made a really good deal, and I was there for 2 years. We made 4, 5, 6 movies. not features, television. They really weren't committed to put money into features.
What kind of television shows?
ABC, NBC, CBS. We did Starflight 1, The Plane That Couldn't Land. It was a big 3-hour special. And they did that mainly, I got that mainly because I had done Meteor, and they figured I was a specialist in the area. Little did they know. And we did, from a famous book, it was the first movie that Michelle Pfeiffer ever did. We did 5, 6, 7 movies for television. Some big ones, some small ones. We guaranteed the delivery of them. That's what made it work for them. And that's the big part of it. Then they own all the back end. And so it was
But then you got into documentaries.
I did. Well, winding down my career, many years later, I was winding down my career, and I had a chance. The business had changed enormously, and it really wasn't where I wanted to be anymore. I wanted to do really independent things. I didn't want everybody in my sandbox all the time. So I started, somebody brought me the idea of Sam Kinison. He had died just recently, and I was a big fan of his. So it brought me the idea of doing this, and we developed it into a documentary. And we got, oh God, from Johnny Carson to every major name in Hollywood wanted to talk about him. And those are all in the show itself. And it's called Sam Kinison, Why Did We Laugh? We did it for HBO and Comedy Central. It was a lot of fun to make. It was really a lot of fun to make.
And what about your sports?
Then I did something, I've always had an interest in sports in general, and I've always interested in, as people get older, how they take care of themselves. I found out that there's a thing called the Senior Olympics, where they do Senior Olympics every 2 years, sanctioned by the U.S. Olympic Committee. So we did that. We did it down at Disney World, where they have a huge facility, and it opened my eyes to what seniors need to know as they get older. And from that, I was asked to join a Senate subcommittee in Washington, D.C., and to video what the investigation is, why the seniors need to get healthy. Wonderful. And it was really an interesting idea, and I was so enthused about doing it. So I photographed all of it. We testified, but I heard one testimony that really rang my bell. And it was a doctor from Stanford University who was a gerontologist who said, unless the seniors in this country start to get healthier, what we're going to see is Social Security and Medicare go under. It cannot sustain unhealthy people. It wasn't designed for that. It was designed for people of normal health. And this, we're getting a lot of unhealthy people. And that was 10 years ago. And he was absolutely correct.
Well, you know, you sent me a picture of you playing some kind of sport.
Oh, in Mexico City, yes.
In Mexico City. We're going to show that picture of how muscular you were when you were young. And who was in the photo with you?
Peter Strauss, who was a television actor at the time and was in this movie called Soldier Blue with Candice Bergen. And we shot in Mexico City, we shot in Cuernavaca, San Luis Miguel.
Well, I was impressed at the muscles. Look at those muscles in that body. And even though we are now seniors, as you mentioned, we are still trying to stay healthy. And I happen to know you played tennis. And I play tennis. And I have to tell you, sports sometimes are very related to the arts. And I see many of my friends who are on the tennis court singing, and we all get out there. We're singing about the sunshine on our shoulders or whatever song is appropriate, and I find myself tap dancing on the court sometimes. So there is definitely art in tennis. So
absolutely.
How about you and I go out to the tennis courts and show everybody what it's like to put a sport into the arts.
Terrific.
We'll see you at the tennis court.
It's the hip hop anthem. alphabet from A to Z.
Hi, I'm Priscilla Candell, singer-songwriter of many children's songs. Give your children a head start in learning through music with my interactive songs about ABCs, numbers, bugs, birds, animals, international words and foods, as well as life. Sing, dance, and draw with songs that develop talents and brains. Welcome back. Here we are at the tennis court. I'm with film producer Arnold Orgolini, and we're going to play some friendly doubles to show you how seniors keep fit with the art of tennis. Serve them up, Arnold.
Okay, let's go.
Well, that was fun. Now we're going to take you back to the studio and show you what you could do with used tennis balls and turn them into art.
I invited a few tennis friends over to see how we could recycle used tennis balls. We assembled all kinds of ribbons, sequins, plastic eyeballs, flowers, and other supplies. The first thing we learned is the best way to cut into a tennis ball is with a saw or electric knife. Then we learned ordinary glue won't hold the balls together, but a glue gun worked great. Now a look at what we created.
Well, we're back here in the studio to show you what we came up with our used tennis balls. Arnold, you'll be amazed. Look at these beautiful centerpieces. You can make these with all the tennis balls and electric knives and glue that you want. Over here, a nice little candle. And down here we have another candle. My friend came up with this cute little bunny that's a tennis ball inside and a sock.
What is this over here? It's a key. Look at that. Just what I need. I figure where to put my key. Oh, now I know where to put it.
You never leave your keys anywhere, right? Okay, now let's say you have things you want to keep in a jar. Well, that little jar actually opens. You can label it with anything you like. These make great centerpieces. Look at the use of tennis balls all the way around. Look at this little bunny. Another jar, could have been peanut butter, whatever. Use your extra things. Don't throw them out. I like this one because I'm a musician. And this one is all about taking notes. Now, if you're having a party, you might want to have name tags. All done with tennis balls. Remember that electric knife makes a nice slit.
You never have to lose your pens or pencils again. Look at that. That's neat. You
Yeah.
just cut a little hole in it, but oh.
Yes, and over here, another thing for paper clips. And if you want your business cards to be on your desk, why not make them pretty? Tennis people are also artistic. Look at this little guy. Now, these were made by people who were not artists, just ordinary people who were having fun. You can take your little cactuses that are out in the garden, put some dirt in one of these little tennis balls, and you have a plant for your desk. Some more little artistic. If you look carefully, that's just a paper cup. And what is this? This is another plastic cup. Doesn't have to be costly. Now, this one is a favorite of many. They think it's my dog, but it could be anybody's dog or your favorite photo. Tennis balls on the back help to keep it standing up. Lots of glue gun glue. Recycling used tennis balls and other items are always fun. Thank you, Arnold Orgolini, for being my guest. And I hope I'll see you next time where I'll have more arts and artists on the arts and you.